Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
We're going to talk about Rooster Teeth. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
How the mighty have fallen. We're going to talk about how other media outlets are now sort of piling onto Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth, of course, which took the moral high ground a few months ago and terminated Vic Mignogna, voice actor, based on allegations.
Right. They didn't even wait to see what the proof was.
And they were actually the first to terminate Vic because they are the moral authority. However, Rooster Teeth is in pretty deep now because they're being accused of being abusive to their staffers.
It sounds like it from the reviews and stuff on Glassdoor.
Right. So before we get into the video, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'm going to beg for subs. No, we're going to ask you to please subscribe to the channel if you like the content, if you'd like to see more. Not begging.
No.
Totally different. Okay, so Rooster Teeth, we did a couple of videos on them. They were getting slammed on Glassdoor by employees saying that the working conditions were pretty horrible, that like a third of RWBY and Genlock, their two premiere series, were basically animated for free because these animators were not getting overtime, and it really escalated. There was a huge long thread on Reddit about that. I mean, long thread on Reddit about it, and it got so bad that Matt at Rooster Teeth had to come out and say, yeah, we fired a dude and we're gonna bring in Margaret Dean from Elation.
Yeah, that makes total sense. But Elation's reviews aren't very good on Glassdoor either.
No, they're bad too. But they're going to bring Margaret Dean, who is responsible for High Guardian Spice, to come in and fix it. And they're going to find a replacement for, who is it? Gray Haddock.
Yeah, he's still there, just a creative role.
Yeah, so they're going to restructure a little bit. But now, cat's out of the bag, and we've got other media outlets calling them outright abusive. So this was interesting. This is coming from Pop Dust. The exploitation of American creators. Rooster Teeth's abusive crunch culture. Corporate responsibility should never fall on employees and fans. One of the most beloved names on the independent animation scene, Rooster Teeth Productions, appreciates a squeaky clean public image and a fan base that views them almost like a friend. Well, they did.
Well, that's that squeaky clean image why they suddenly got rid of people without waiting to see what happened.
Yeah, but behind corporate doors, Rooster Teeth's workplace is anything but friendly, characterized by extreme crunch culture, zero overtime pay, and abusive management that takes advantage of employees' passion and career aspirations. They go into a history of Rooster Teeth and how it started in 2003 as a relatively small animation startup, and as tends to happen, it blew up. I think they got bought by Fullscreen, then Fullscreen got bought by Warner Brothers. Now it's part of the corporate machine, and things kind of came off the rail. So recently, Rooster Teeth's Glassdoor page, which we talked about in the previous video, has been hit with a slew of negative employee reviews.
Yeah,
they're bad.
They are pretty bad, actually.
These reviews outline a corporate culture plagued by oppressive working conditions, forced unpaid labor with zero benefits, and a trend of lying and hand-waving complaints on the part of management. This stands completely at odds with Rooster Teeth's friendly, engaged public image. Many of the highlights have been compiled on a RWBY fan Tumblr. I mean, this is one of the worst.
The one thing that I will say, though, the pros, a lot of people said that the people are good, and they keep mentioning about the catering or the food, but it's always good people to work with. They like to work with people. So it's not all bad. They seem to like working with other people, but they're definitely not being paid fairly and not being treated fairly, according to the reviews.
And this is not unusual. So we're going to talk a little bit about crunch culture here, and this is not unusual for any creative, unfortunately. So many of the recent employee reviews continue in this vein. Crunch culture has been covered frequently as an overwhelming problem in the video game industry.
Yeah, we've mentioned many times.
Crunch, as it's come to be known, is the prior period to the planned release date of a video game when everything that hasn't been finished already needs to be finished immediately. This is when everybody's sleeping on the floor, sleeping on the couch, at the office for weeks to get it done. Crunch can last a few weeks or a few months, but it's almost always characterized by the same things: ungodly unpaid hours and extreme pressure to deliver too much work in too little time. While press coverage of crunch in the video game industry has been high profile, with major accusations levied against publishers like Rockstar and BioWare, I know EA is one of the worst, coverage about animation industry has been scarce. And we have a theory for that.
Go ahead, what's your theory?
Well, we talked about this in previous videos. The theory is that the animation industry, there is crunch, but you're not seeing it stateside. The crunch
I'm sure it happens stateside. Well, you are here, apparently.
Yeah, well, because they do their animation in the States. Usually animation studios send their projects overseas.
They do. They job it out.
To Korea and Japan, where they deal with the crunch. They have the deplorable working conditions. They put in the ungodly amount of hours, and then they send a finished or almost finished product back to Burbank as if by magic, and nobody sees it, right? While the American workers aren't putting in nearly the hours that the animators are. With Rooster Teeth, because they're doing everything in-house, you're actually seeing it, you know, how bad it actually is. And I'm not excusing Rooster Teeth at all, but this is not unusual.
Yeah, it's really not unusual. I mean, we've seen it before, like I said, gaming and other animation places.
This is not unusual for any creative industry. Rooster Teeth reviews offer insight into how the abuse functions. Artists are led on with the promise of full-time employment and benefits.
We saw that many times in the reviews.
Yeah, dangled in front of them without ever being addressed and ultimately are never given. This happens, I mean, everywhere. I don't know how, like, every creative industry, you know, with a few exceptions, creatives are, they take your, you know, a company will take advantage of your passion.
Yes.
They absolutely will. And this happens in comics. I mean, comic books especially, where why are people working for such ridiculously low page rates? Because they want to work on comics so bad, so they work for next to nothing. But then the entire industry gets used to cheap labor.
Right, and then they don't want to, and then it lowers the rates for everybody. It just keeps making it worse and worse and worse.
But the reality, and the reality is, though, is maybe the industry isn't sustainable if everyone was actually getting paid
what they should be.
You know, a living wage, and then you'd find out that, oh, hey, this isn't, you know, this isn't sustainable, or maybe we need half as many comic books, you know, because we're just going to pay the best people what they're actually worth. But that's not how they think it. So, yeah, so this says initially some Rooster Teeth fans suggested, because, you know, fans can't believe the things they're fans of, you know, could be bad. And we actually had people in videos calling us out saying we were lying.
Oh, in other videos.
Yeah, in our other videos in the comments. They're like, you're liars. I have to unsub from you because I can't believe that Rooster Teeth could do this. Initially, some Rooster Teeth fans suggested that these Glassdoor reviews might simply be the work of a few disgruntled fired employees, which does happen, as opposed to legitimate whistleblowers about a larger toxic culture. The theory was quickly debunked by Jordan Whitman, a visual development artist and creator of the Rooster Teeth series Nomad of Nowhere. Whitman took to Twitter to back up the reviews, saying it's true, and people likely don't want their careers affected when seeking jobs elsewhere. So they talk about loopholes in the labor laws, where you know, normally not paying employee overtime past 40 hours a week is criminal. An employee whose primary work includes invention, imagination, originality, or talent in a recognized field of artistic or creative endeavor and makes more than $4.55 a week is not included. So they could technically pay you $500 a week and work you like 100 hours, you know.
Pretty much.
I mean, that sucks.
Yeah, but that's what they're doing.
You know, and my advice to anybody, I think, with any job, you know, going into it is like, if you don't get what you want going in, don't expect a raise.
Yeah.
Don't expect a promotion. Like, sometimes the only time you're going to get a raise or promotion is if you go someplace else.
Yeah, that's what people are doing now. When they go into a job, they know they're only going to stay there a year or two. Yeah,
and that's why people don't stay long, because, you know, a lot of, I mean, especially creatives, and you think that creatives would be, you look at, like, I mean, I want to say Disney back in the day, but even Disney, they had a strike where the animators had a big strike. But, you know, there were people who stayed there for decades, and now people, you know, are job jumpers, because if you actually want a promotion or you want more money, a lot of times you have to just go someplace else because you're not going to get it where you're at. And eventually and then what sucks is the people who deserve the raises, deserved getting paid more, they leave, and then the people that come in after them a lot of times get the raise or the promotion they should have gotten.
Yeah, it's absolute garbage.
Because they don't want somebody else to
wouldn't it be
leave.
easier to pay the people who did the work initially, you know? But no.
Yeah, and Matt Hullum, CEO, released a statement. We talked about that. He said he apologized. Okay. Well, we're sorry we screwed you guys over for years.
I'm sorry that people found out that we screwed you guys over.
That's more or less what it is, yeah. So while Matt's statement might be seen as a step in the right direction, it's important to note that employee reviews highlight the fact this has been an internal issue for years.
It's like, we're sorry we got caught.
Finally got caught. Management has been aware of it and complicit in the abuse for years, claiming that they intend to fix something like this only after fans express outrage is not okay. Corporate responsibility should never fall on employees and fans. Crunch culture boils down to poor management and deeply ingrained abuse of artists and creators, because basically if you take it long enough, it becomes an expectation.
Right.
What is often done as a favor, this has been my experience.
Yes, we've run into this just recently.
Yeah, what's usually done as a favor to help out during a crunch period becomes an expectation.
With no more pay, no more appreciation. Right. And then when you don't do it anymore, you're told that you're just lazy or not professional, even though you never were required to do it in the first place.
Yep. So Rooster Teeth doesn't need to do better tomorrow. They need to do better yesterday. Rooster Teeth is in a really, and I am not making excuses for them, but they're in a really bad place right now because they're part of Warner Media. We've talked about this before. Warner Media is shutting down divisions. They're combining companies. The fact that they have Margaret Dean from Elation, who's in charge of High Guardian Spice for Crunchyroll, coming in to kind of help them find a replacement to get their production workflow.
Yeah, well, they're looking for the right kind of replacement.
I would not be surprised if Rooster Teeth and Elation got smushed together.
Yeah, I'm thinking they might, because they were consolidating more and more and more.
Yeah.
And why send her in? You know, to pick somebody.
Yeah.
Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because she's going to be working with them. You know, that's...
Working with her, because it's most likely a woman, because they made a point of saying that she's
women
in
animation. Yep.
So you know darn well it's going to be a woman.
So I expect big changes at Rooster Teeth. We've been talking about the Rooster Teeth, Crunchyroll, Cartoon Network dilemma, and how Warner Brothers is definitely pruning these companies back, and they've got like 3 or 4 animation studios, and the reality is they don't need that many.
No.
Not from a corporate standpoint. So I think we will probably see either the demise of Rooster Teeth in the not too distant future, or it'll merge with Elation or Cartoon Network or something. But the cat's out of the bag now, so hopefully the people who are left, get treated better. Hopefully. Got anything else to add?
No, I think you covered it pretty effectively.
Okay, well, we'll keep on top of this, see if there's any other major news. It's just very interesting, though, that other outlets are starting to call them out now,
they should
too.
be called out for it.
So, all right, Rooster Teeth, taking the moral high ground. So, all right, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, rants, gaming videos, art videos, and more. This has been Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey, guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.